bacteria are the oldest living organisms on the earth. They've been here for billions of years, and what they are single-celled microscopic organisms. So they're one cell, and they have the special property that they only have one piece of DNA. So they have very few genes and genetic information to encode all of the traits that they carry out. And the way bacteria make a living is that they consume nutrients from the environment, they grow to twice their size, they cut themselves down in the middle, and one cell becomes two, and so on and so on. So they just grow and divide and grow and divide. So kind of boring life, except that what I would argue is that you have an amazing interaction with these critters. I know you guys think of yourself as humans, and this is sort of how I think of you. And so this man is supposed to represent a generic human being, and all of the circles in that man are all of the cells that make up your body. So there's about 1 trillion human cells that make each one of us who we are and able to do all the things that we do. But you have 10 trillion bacterial cells in you or on you at any moment in your life. So 10 times more bacterial cells than human cells on a human being. And so, of course, it's the DNA that counts. So here's all the A, T's, G's, and C's that make up your genetic code and give you all your charming characteristics. So you have about 30,000 genes. Well, it turns out you have 100 times more bacterial genes playing a role in you or on you all of your life. And so at the best, you're 10% human. We're more likely about 1% human, depending on which of these metrics you like. So I know you think of yourself as human beings, but I think of you as 90 or 99% bacterial. And these bacteria are not passive riders. These are incredibly important. They keep us alive. They cover us in an invisible body armor that keeps environmental insults out so that we stay healthy. They digest our food. They make our vitamins. They actually educate your immune system to keep bad microbes out. So they do all these amazing things that help us and are vital for keeping us alive. And they never get any press for that. But they get a lot of press because they do a lot of terrible things as well. So there's all kinds of bacteria on the earth that have no business being in you or on you at any time. And if they are, they make you incredibly sick. And so the question from my lab is whether you want to think about all the good things that bacteria do or all the bad things that bacteria do. The question we had is how could they do anything at all? I mean, they're incredibly small. You have to have a microscope to see one. They live this sort of boring life where they grow and divide, and they've always been considered to be these asocial reclusive organisms. And so it seemed to us that they're just too small to have an impact on the environment if they simply act as individuals. And so we wanted to think if there couldn't be a different way that bacteria live. And the clue to this came from another marine bacterium, and it's a bacterium called Vibrio fischeri. And so what you're looking at on this slide is just a person from my lab holding a flask of a liquid culture of a bacterium, a harmless, beautiful bacterium that comes from the ocean named Vibrio fischeri. And this bacterium has the special property that it makes light. So it makes bioluminescence, like fireflies make light. So we're not doing anything to the cells here. We just took the picture by turning the lights off in the room, and this is what we see. And what was actually interesting to us was not that the bacteria made light, but when the bacteria made light. What we noticed is when the bacteria were alone, so when they were in dilute suspension, they made no light. But when they grew to a certain cell number, all the bacteria turned on lights simultaneously. And so the question that we had is how can bacteria, these primitive organisms, tell the difference from times when they're alone and times when they're in a community and then all do something together? And what we figured out is that the way that they do that is that they talk to each other, and they talk with a chemical language. So this
Most prokaryotes are encased in rigid but porous cell walls that protect them from rupturing due to osmotic pressure in watery environments and give different types of bacteria their characteristic shapes. The most common shapes include rod-like bacilli, spherical cocci, and corkscrew-shaped spirilla. About half of all prokaryotes are capable of directed motion. Spirochetes move in a rolling motion created by a helical wave generated by internal fibrils. Many cyanobacteria and other bacteria glide on surfaces via a mechanism that scientists have yet to fully understand, while some aquatic prokaryotes move up and down in the water by adjusting the amount of gas and vesicles in their cytoplasm. but by far the most common form of locomotion in prokaryotes are flagellum. Prokaryotic flagella may cover the entire cell or form a tuft at one end. Each prokaryotic flagella consists of a single fibril of the protein flagellin.